Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today I am having a conversation with actor, musician, and host Chase Mangum. Chase has appeared in shows like Unstable, Wayne Brady, The Family Remix, and hosts The Fun Show alongside his dad. He is also the lead singer of the band Whim. Thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so excited to be talking with you.
Thank you for having me, Maya. This is so much fun.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's get started.
Let's
So,
do it.
who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
It's a really good question. I would have to say, I know it's basic. I have to say my parents, specifically my mom, because she's the one that got me into entertainment at such a young age. I didn't know I wanted to do it, and then I'd see her do casting forever. That's what she does for a living now, is casting. And I'd go to her casting sessions as a baby, and I just watch all these actors come in and do their parts. And people didn't think I was cognitive. They didn't know I could like understand what was happening, but I was like one or two. And subconsciously, I kind of remember people coming in and reading for the roles and over and over and over and over again. And that just made me find a love for acting. And I think I give all the props to my mom for bringing me in the room, and seeing all these actors do their thing for so many years, because I think she's the one that really inspired me to take up acting. And she's the one that signed me up for classes. She's the one that, would drive me to auditions. So I give it all to her. She is my angel. I love my mom to death, and I always will.
Oh, I love that.
She's my girl.
I love that. So do you have a specific songwriting process or any rituals that you do before writing a song?
That's a good question. It's never the same. That's the thing is I really like patterns. I like to find patterns that helps me as a person. Sometimes I'm a little neurotic and it's like, okay, if I can find a specific thing that works for me, I'm gonna use that for now on. I always think I find a pattern because I write a song a certain way. Let's say maybe one day I start with lyrics and that really works for me. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna keep writing with lyrics. This is amazing. But then the next time I go to write another song, I don't start with lyrics. So I'm like, what? Okay, I started with drums this time, so maybe I need to start with drums. And then I go downstairs to go, this is my studio here. I go to, record drums. I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Let me try starting with bass, and then that works. So I wish I could say yes, and when eventually I find it, I will tell you the secret because I'm still looking for it myself. But it's always different. But I think that's kind of what's magical about songwriting, is because there's no formula, that's what makes it fun, is like you don't know what to expect. Sometimes I like to know, ahead of time what to expect, but
Yeah.
that's what makes songwriting the best, is you just have to trust the process, which is sometimes very very hard and scary to do, but you just got to trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
it's really fun.
Yeah. I love writing song lyrics.
Really.
And yeah, that's one of my
Aw.
favorite things to do.
I'm gonna
So
flip it back on you. Who are some of your like favorite songwriters slash like where do you get your inspiration from?
um Ben Platt is
Ben
one of
Platt.
my all-time favorite artists.
Oh yeah.
And I love the way he writes. And then I also love like Macy Peters
Hmm.
and Taylor Swift. So
Phenomenal songwriter.
yeah,
Phenomenal songwriters. I
yeah.
wa- I went to the movie theater to go see. I think it was her. Was it her Eras tour movie?
Oh yeah.
It was great. It was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed myself. I was the only boy there because it was like a Friday night, and my girlfriend dragged me out, and then I watched it, and I probably had the best time out of anyone there, to be honest.
Oh, I love
There's a
that.
lot of new songs saved to the playlist that night.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, my family and I actually saw her on her Eras tour when she
No
was in
way.
Denver.
No way. It's so much fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's so
it was
cool.
yeah, it was so much fun.
I'm jealous. That's a new bucket list item, is to go see Taylor Swift, because I was
Yeah.
blown away. I was blown away.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my mine and my family's first time seeing her live.
Oh,
and she is incredible. My sister and I have been huge fans of her music forever, so it
oh.
was incredible.
I'm so glad you got to go. I'm sure the experience was,
Thank you.
yeah, one to remember always.
Yeah, definitely.
No, good.
Thank you. Um, yeah, and that was yeah, last summer, and then just this past summer we saw Ben Platt came to Denver, and he was my like on my bucket list of people I have to see live.
He's the guy. Oh
And
my, I can only imagine.
yeah, he is just incredible.
Love Ben. Love Ben
Yeah,
Platt. Yeah, he is so good. And everything he
yeah,
does, he just keeps blowing me away. And his music's amazing and his amazing performer. He's good at
yeah,
he's got the whole package and he's one of those
yeah,
guys that just has like a spark. And you
yeah,
see it right off the bat. You just see it. You're like, that's why he's Ben Platt because he's
yeah,
got the thing.
yeah, definitely.
You do all of it. Broadway, he can do the songwriting, he can do acting.
Yeah,
He's one of those guys. He's really one
yeah.
of those guys.
Is yeah. Yeah, my I went to the concert with my mom and my sister, and they were like watching me watch him, and like the whole time from the moment he walked on stage I was just sobbing.
Oh,
So,
no. That's
yeah.
so sweet. That's so sweet. My,
Yeah.
my my friends do the same thing with me, except at horror nights, at Halloween horror nights. I hate going, but they force me to go. They pay money to watch me react. That's what they're really there for. They're not there to be scared. They're there to like see me. Like, what's Chase doing? Stop it! Like, please stop it! And I'm like crying in the corner, and
Yeah.
my friends are like
Yeah.
filming me laughing. They think it's
Yeah.
hilarious, and. So I get that, but
Yeah.
Ben Platt sounds like a much
Yeah.
more pleasant experience for me.
Yes. Definitely.
Oh man.
But I definitely understand that. I think I would be the same way if I ever went to that. I like thrillers, I don't like anything horror.
With
So
you. I'm with you. Same thing here.
yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, my best friend is trying to get me to watch more horror movies, and
Mm.
I'm just like I can't do it.
Boy, no, I'm with you. I have to be. It's easier on the phone for some reason. I don't know why. Because people want me to go to a theater and go watch all these new horror movies, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't even fathom. I can't. If it's on the phone and I'm like backed away, maybe. But the jump scares that
Yeah.
I just might make my heart stop. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what will happen, and I don't want to
Yeah.
know. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay here and watch
Yeah.
my thrillers are good enough, and
Yes.
then maybe one day when something changes.
Exactly.
But I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I oh, I'm so sorry. I just completely lost my train of thought.
No worries. We're just talking. Sorry,
Yeah.
I tend to do that. So if you have to put me back on the rails, no
Okay.
worries. I will always
Okay.
jump off. I'm a
Yeah, I
bad
do the
interviewee.
same thing.
Do the same thing.
Yeah. If like my best friend, whenever I'm talking with him, will have
Mm.
like a bunch of different conversations in one conversation. So
That's so fun. He's saving
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Saving time. He's got to do it all at once. I know I'm the
yeah.
same way. Oh,
Well,
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I know sometimes
yeah,
it's good though. It's why
yeah,
we are, who we
yeah,
are.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Um, so what is the biggest obstacle you have overcome?
It's a good question. All these are good. I keep saying good question because they're all really good questions.
Thank you.
I'm trying to let me think. It's a really, you know what it was? It was like during COVID. COVID was a very weird time for all of
Yeah.
us, I can imagine. Very weird time.
Yeah.
But there was a weird thing with me and acting and I had this like kind of anxiety towards it because, I spent my whole life as a kid acting. I'd go into auditions. I'd go into probably 5, 6 auditions a week. And I'd go and I'd charm the room and that was like my tactic. It's like, Chase didn't have the script memorized, but he knew how to talk. So, I had that tactic with me. And then when COVID happened, I spent 2 years locked up in my house, which was weird, like as of all of us. And I didn't get to go out. I didn't get to socialize, even with friends of mine. Everything was over the computer. So then when I went back into acting, I just felt like I lost that spark. Like I was like, nervous around people. I was uncomfortable, and it was a really weird experience because it was something I was naturally good at is communicating with people. Like that's what I'm good at, is finding a bond and finding a connection. But after COVID, I lost it. It felt like I lost it, and I was like, oh my gosh, what do I have? Like now I have to actually like learn the script. No, I'm joking. I mean, of course you come in prepared, but
Yeah.
that was a really weird experience, and it took a little bit, but I'm so happy that I took the time to realize it and work on it. And the only solution was just go do it more. Go to more acting classes, go out more, go out to lunch more. That's like something that I really like doing. My dad told me about this book. It's called Never Eat Lunch Alone. I haven't read it, but the title says it enough. It says it all.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's the thing. You just got to go out and meet new people. And there was a lull of me meeting all these new people. But after I really made an effort to go do it again, it all, disappeared. And I know that's probably a minor thing to some people, but for somebody that's, I spend my life doing this every day, it was a very
Yeah.
weird switch. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's weird, but I'm glad I'm back, and it was a weird little lull. I'm sure
Yeah.
we all had little lulls going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely get that. After
yeah.
lockdown, I had like a very or I had kind of a hard time like readjusting to
Hmm.
we weren't in lockdown anymore.
Yeah.
Um and for me it was like more I felt more connected
Hmm.
during lockdown actually because
Interesting.
everything was online.
Hmm.
So like it felt like so I could do like I can't always like go out and do things like with my
Absolutely.
like chronic illness. I don't
Hmm.
always feel up to it up to going out. So it was really nice to still be able to participate in
Yeah.
things while being at home. And it felt
Yeah.
like more people understood that during
Hmm.
lockdown, but
Of
I
course.
can definitely see how it like was really hard for other people.
Absolutely. And no, I understand your point of view. I mean, there's so many people I met on Zoom that I wouldn't be friends with if it
Yeah,
weren't for COVID. So
yeah,
there's two sides, you know what I mean? There's like there are so many
yeah,
best friends that I've met on Zoom, and now like they live in LA now, and I'm really great friends with them. So there are two sides to it as well, because I
yeah,
have that as well, you know what I mean? So it's just
yeah,
so funny that they're both so drastic, like the differences. But I
yeah,
totally understand. Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, so what is the best part about hosting the fun show with your dad? Are there any challenges to working with a family member?
The hardest part is, leveling him up, because that's what he does for a living. He hosts on Let's Make a Deal with Wayne. So that's something he does every day of his life. And then when they asked me to host it, I was like, yeah, I'd love to. And I was like, who's gonna be my co-host? They're like, oh, your dad. I was like, "Ugh." So now it's always like he's doing. I mean, he's great. So he's saying his thing, and then I'm trying to, of course, one up him on TV, which is
Oh.
which is funny. And if it's out of love, of course, it's out of family. But he'll make a joke,
Yeah.
and then I'll push the joke a little further, or he'll say something, and I'll take it to like another like level, I think, of where it's funnier, and
Yeah.
and that's where like that's what I've been trying to do. And it's funny because we filmed the first season of the Fun Show in one day. We did it in like
Oh,
10 hours. So you can see my
wow.
my growth throughout the episodes. Literally, we filmed it chronologically. So filming it from 1 to 10, you could see the differences and see how I got better. Um, and one of the challenges was it was a kid show. So automatically you need like 5 times more energy. So it was a lot of energy to get the kind of performance that they wanted. And because of a kids show, you you have to be completely clean, squeaky clean. You can't say any bad words. You can't make any raunchy jokes. And that's sometimes, I go there because my dad, he does
Yeah.
comedy and he'll make a funny joke that's, that is not appropriate for children's television. But that was a hard thing. And what he said is that if you can make jokes that are clean, that's more impressive than making dirty jokes because you have to think outside the box to be able to make these jokes. And that resonated with me a lot. So now instead of, just saying whatever something that pops into my head, I really think about it and I'm like, no, I can make this funnier by implying something or just making it a clean joke and people are going to be more impressed. So that was my challenge, which I've learned a lot from.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Um, so what is something people are always surprised to learn about you?
Huh. Let's see. Something surprised. I think I think most people are a lot of people are surprised that I can play the amount of instruments I can play. That's always like a thing that people are surprised about. Because I play in the band Wim, I play bass and I sing, and that's what I put out is like bass player singer, boom. But I really started on the drums back when I was two. So I started on drums and then I learned bass in fourth grade because my best friend was a drummer. We wanted to be in a band together, but we're like, we don't need to do drums. Like, let me learn something else. And then I just started to like kind of stack all these instruments together and, just start to learn more and more and more. So people are always surprised when they'll mention like a recording or whatever of a song that I did. They're like, oh, that was great. Your band is really cool. I'm like, band? They're like, what? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that was just me. And people are always like really blown away by that, and people are very surprised. Um, but that seems to be like the norm now, is it's like all these producers that I'm really good friends with, like I go to sit in a room and watch them produce a song, and then they sit down and play everything like 10 times better than I ever could. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, so that's inspired me to like get better at all these instruments. And like my buddy's letting me borrow these drums. He came over last night to set them up. I think aren't they so pretty? They have like the blue sparkle.
Yeah.
Um,
I really like the color.
Thank you, right? It's like
Yeah.
vinyl wrapped, and if you like move your head, or I guess let me see if I move this, does it do the thing? But those are like my favorite things. But yeah, that's something that people are always like a little bit surprised about. That I'm the one doing all the recordings on my own solo stuff, not the Wimp stuff. The Wimp stuff we got down to a science with the band, but that's something people are surprised about.
Oh, that's so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so what in your life brings you the most joy?
It's good. Um, there are two things. There are three things. Not in any order. Actually, yes, in this order. Number one is my dog, Clarissa. She's the best. Number two is music, just listening to music, making music, any kind of music. And three is acting. I know it's so basic. That's probably like, oh, you're programmed to say that. But no, it's like, there's nothing else better. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
nothing else better in the world. And if there was, like, quit keeping secrets, like tell me about it.
Yeah.
um but those are just like my favorite things. Like I've had Clarissa forever. She's like 13, I think, now. She's a boxer and she's white, which is purebred. And a white boxer, usually they have all kinds of like eye problems and they have like health problems. But she's like just been amazing, and she's totally like healthy. She's still, we take her on 3 mile walks. It's crazy. And so what's funny is she's the first person that I told my first crush to ever. It was my dog. I was in fourth grade, and I
Oh.
whispered in her ear. I was like, I have a crush on, and then I don't know. She's been there for so long, and she's like a sibling at this point. Like she's a personality. I literally just caught her jumping on the counter and just took like some tomatoes off the counter and started to eat them, and she's like, I can't be mad because she's cute. Um,
Yeah.
and then music, because it's just like it's an understanding of life that I feel like I really resonate with. Sometimes it's hard for me to connect to certain things, um, or even certain people. Sometimes I'm just like on a completely different, as creatives, it's sometimes hard for us to kind of be grounded, and people especially that are around us that are grounded. It's hard to like have a connection with them. You know, you don't know what to say because we're only thinking in like creative terms, you know. But music is like it's really cool because it allows me to like say what I want to say, not only to the creatives, but also to people that, you know, do like our doctors that have their own passions doing their own thing outside of the creative field. It allows me to like tell my story to them. And that's always cool because my friends
Yeah.
that aren't in the creative industry come up to me and go, "Oh, I really like your song, blah, blah, blah. I really like the lyrics." And it's like, "Thanks." Like there's no way ever that I could tell you what the song's about if you're not someone who's like making music. Like you have to be able to listen to it, and it can't come from me. It has to come from the speakers. So that's why I
Yeah.
love music and then acting because it's just, I mean, I get to be somebody else for the day. So
Oh,
much
I
fun.
love that. Yeah,
Oh,
I love that. Yeah, I know, yeah, for me, like songwriting
mhm.
is like I is a way to express my emotions when I don't always know how to,
Exactly.
like a certain feeling I'm having, like I can write it down and
Yeah.
like just get it off my chest.
That's the best. Isn't that the best? Isn't that the
Yeah,
best part?
it
It's so
is.
fun.
Yeah. And then afterwards, I'm like, I feel so much better now. And
That's all it takes. Sometimes that's
yeah,
all it takes is just to write it down.
yeah,
Yeah, there's something so important about just having like a. I love pad and pencil. More because I know people do the whole thing on the phone, but I love like pad and pencil really helps. And I've heard from my science teacher in sixth grade, Miss Fernandez, shout out. I don't know if this is true, but
yeah.
she said that black ink on a yellow pad of paper helps you remember things better. So
Oh.
if she told me that, I have no clue if it's true, but she was really cool. She was my favorite teacher ever. So like if I have to memorize like lyrics or anything, I'll write them down on yellow piece of paper on in black ink.
Oh wow, I love that. That's so cool.
So if you ever need to memorize anything, boom, it's
Okay.
my go-to technique.
Yeah.
It'll be
Well,
Maya's technique too.
yeah.
We share the technique.
Yes. Thank you, because I am terrible at remembering things.
Me
So,
too. Me too. Don't
yeah.
worry.
So yeah, I took an acting class one semester in high school,
Oh,
and
cool.
yeah, it was really like it was fun, and also I couldn't like memorize any of the lines, and I
Hmm.
didn't like standing in front of everybody.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, like I think like I have such respect for that like profession, and
Hmm.
I think it's so cool to like be able to like be somebody else for a little bit,
Yeah.
and it like terrified me.
Absolutely. Do you want to hear my secret of what I do? Because
Yes.
it's not like it's not natural to be able it's not natural to stand in front of a bunch of people and perform. Like think about how weird it is. You know, that's such a
Yeah.
weird it's such a weird profession. What
Yeah.
I do is just pretend like the character likes that. That's literally that's what I've learned to do because you know, I'll stand in front of people and I'm like, I'm a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But oh, the character I'm playing, Ralph from wherever from let's say Costa Rica. You're playing
Yeah.
Ralph from Costa Rica. What if he loves the spotlight? So you go, okay, well I'm not Chase right now. I'm Ralph. So then you could kind of play him as like, oh, like I love the attention. And that somehow convinces you that you like it. It's like a weird thing, but like just pretend
Yeah.
like that whoever you are enjoys what you don't like. And then
Yeah.
you don't have to think about the thing you don't like because you're already pretending that you do, and then you convince yourself, and then before you know it, the scene's over, and then everyone's, you know, like stoked on it, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah. Oh, I love
That's what I
that.
love to do.
Yeah.
It usually helps me, and maybe it'll help you too, because that's something I always, you know, I always thought about, and
Yeah.
uh, it was always weird to me, yeah, to stand in front, especially stage stuff. It's always so weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah. If I ever take another acting class, I'll
you
try.
should. It's so much fun.
Yeah. And I would, yeah, I'd love to, yeah, one day do that
That'd be
again. I
great.
mean, it was fun.
Oh,
So,
it's the
yeah.
best.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you have a day off, what would your perfect day look like?
Oh man, let's see. Day off. I haven't had one of those in a long time, so that's much needed. I, you know what? I live in Los Angeles, and the beach is only a 30-minute drive. And I always say, I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna go to the beach. Blah 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 blah. Now, oh, I have a car now. I'm gonna go to the beach. Oh, I can bring my dog now. I can go to the beach. I have friends that want to go to the beach. Let's go to the beach. And I never end up going. And like this, it's so funny you brought it up because all my friends have been talking about the beach. Like every day I've been hearing like, let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach. Um, and maybe it's a sign to just take the day off
Yeah.
today and go drive to the beach because I love the ocean. I love the beach. I just never go enough. And I have no excuse. It's right here. It's the back, my backyard, and I never ever go. So for me right now, that's only the perfect day off is to drive to the beach, maybe I love Korean barbecue, so maybe like get some Korean barbecue, put a little sand towel out, get some friends of mine and just eat it up and just watch like either the sunset or the sunrise. Probably the sunset because I'll be sleeping during sunrise.
Yeah.
Um, but that sounds perfect. Like you
Yeah.
might have just gave me an idea tonight. That sounds like my go-to day off because I really don't do a
Yeah.
lot of days off because when I have days off like acting, I'll do music. When I have days off music, I'll be acting. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's always, back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. That sounds like a great day.
Thank you, right?
Yeah.
You're invited as always.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I love Los Angeles. That
Mm.
is one of my favorite places in the
Is it?
world.
Oh, LA's the best.
Yeah.
Colorado's cool too. I went to Colorado last October for the first time.
Oh,
It was
cool.
really fun. I was in Colorado Springs.
Oh,
It was
oh,
really fun. They had
cool.
the Penny Arcade. That was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
They had like we went to the hot springs. That was really fun. I had a
Yeah.
great time in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah. My family and I have gone to um LA like every I think we try to go like once a year
Yeah.
since we went the first time during COVID.
But the first time you went
Um,
was COVID?
yeah.
Oh
It was
man.
yeah, it was like 2000 or it was kind of after a
Hmm.
lit okay, sorry, I'm trying to think. It was
No, you're
still
good.
going on, but there was
Yeah.
like 2021. It
Hmm.
was so things were still kind of shut down, but not as much as they were.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
That's good. It's good it didn't go during the peak of it because
yeah,
yeah, it was driving the streets. It was so weird. Actually, I couldn't even drive, so my mom would drive me. But during COVID, I remember driving around on like Melrose on these big streets, and
yeah,
nobody was on the streets, and I was like,
wow.
this is so weird, especially
Yeah,
being in LA. I mean, you know how busy LA is, and
yeah,
it's like nobody's on the streets, and it's like
yeah,
3 p.m. on a Friday, and it's like this is so weird.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a very weird thing.
Yeah, yeah. I remember right before everything shut down, my
Hmm.
mom went to the grocery store and she called me and she was like, "It is so weird. It's like it looks like the zombie
No,
apocalypse."
it's
Like,
insane. My mom did the exact same
yeah.
thing. She bought like so many rolls of toilet paper because remember there was a whole thing where it's like
Yeah.
toilet paper is gonna be like $1 million and it's gonna be nowhere. And so she went
Yeah.
like to CVS and yep, cleared out everything and she grabbed like
Yeah.
15 just when she's running to the car. And I remember being like, what is happening right now? And it was like it was such a weird phenomenon. Yeah, it literally looked like a zombie apocalypse. You put it
Yeah.
perfectly. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
Without the zombies, thank goodness.
Yes. I know when my mom told me that, I was like, don't even say that.
Yeah.
I know that's not that like would never happen,
Mhm.
but that's like I don't know, an irrational fear.
Don't put it into the world. I know, especially
Yeah.
us who are scared of horror movies.
Yeah.
That's like a nightmare. That's nightmare fuel.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I am pop culture obsessed and I go in stages of shows that I
Hmm.
cannot stop watching. What show are you currently obsessed with?
Good question. Oh man, I keep saying good question because these are all good questions. Like
Thank you.
genuinely really fun to answer. Um, I'll answer, then I really want to hear your answer because I'm also
Okay.
big into pop culture and I always need to watch new shows. My favorite show that I'm rewatching right now that I always go back to is That 70s Show, which is I think such a good show and I want to be Michael Kelso, Ashton Kutcher's character. I first watched the show when I was in eighth grade and I was like, the show's great. And then again, I think every year of high school I watched it. And then so it's been a couple years since I've watched it. So this is like my fifth time watching it. And I just forget how good it is, how much I love the characters, how funny it is. It's just one of those shows that brings me back, but also like every time I watch it, I see new things that I didn't notice before. So it's kind of like I'm still like living it. It's not like something I'm remembering. It's like, oh no, wait, I don't remember that. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, this was that. So it's like living, experiencing the past again, but also like seeing these new things that I've never seen, which is really fun.
Yeah.
What about you?
Cool. Yeah, I'm watching right now with my mom. Actually, we're
Yeah.
watching the new miniseries The Perfect Couple
Oh
on
yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And that is so good.
Good.
And yeah, I highly recommend that.
The perfect couple.
And
I'm gonna
yeah.
write it down. I'm literally gonna
Yeah.
type it out because we know how we will forget. Let's see.
Yes.
Perfect couple. Okay.
Yeah.
It's in the
Yeah.
notes. In the
Cool.
notes, it will be
Yeah.
watched. I'll probably watch it with my
Yeah.
mom too because we love watching
Okay.
TV together.
Oh, yeah. That I know. I love yeah, when my family and I find a show to watch
It's
together.
the
It's
best. It's the
yeah,
best. It's so hard sometimes,
it
especially
is.
I have a little brother who's so picky. And now he's in
Mhm.
college, but he used to be like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch that. And it's always like he wants to watch Batman or something. I'm like, we've just watched Batman. Please, let's watch something else.
Yeah.
He's always like, he's like one movie, or I don't know. He's always like he's picking the opposite of what everybody wants. I think it's just to make a statement, just to stir the
Yeah.
pot. He's one of those like,
Yeah.
he's just my little brother. He likes to do that. But
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, when
Yeah.
we all can agree on
Yeah.
something, it's like, oh, it's like it
Oh, yeah.
doesn't get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's in a good
Yeah.
mood.
Yeah. We just finished rewatching um Royal Pains, which is one of my all-time favorite shows and
Oh,
my family's. Like
hmm.
we watch it. We first rewatched it during the pandemic together, and then we just finished rewatching it again.
So fun.
Um, yeah, yeah, it
So
was
much.
so fun to rewatch it, and then I um rewatched all of the show White Collar, which is
Hmm.
another one of my favorite shows.
Great show.
Um, so
It's a
yeah,
great. That's amazing.
my family and I also, or my family also really loves that show. So we
Mhm.
like when they were home, we'd watch it together. But then I was like, I don't want to wait for you to
Oh,
keep watching it. So
no, I'm with you. I know sometimes you just gotta be like, gotta sneak a couple episodes here and there and just
yeah,
go back onto Netflix and go.
yeah, definitely, yeah,
And that was me with Breaking Bad, and my family was out of town. I was just like, what happened to Walt? I have to know. So I just like watched a couple episodes. They don't know this, so they're gonna find out from this. But I snuck some episodes. I had to. I had to.
yeah,
Had to.
yeah. Yeah. Um, so do you have any irrational fears?
Rational fears. I used to be terrified. It sounds like it. I used to be terrified of clowns
Oh,
as a
yeah.
kid. They were my biggest fear. I remember in kinder, I think it was because of I was in kindergarten and we used to have like this little like fair kind of thing come to our school. And I was doing something probably I wasn't supposed to be doing. I was throwing dirt at something. I don't know. You know, as kids we do
Yeah.
crazy things, especially as hyper kids. I was throwing dirt at
Yeah.
it was I forget, I think it was like my friend's friend. I don't even know what I was doing. It was just something I shouldn't have been doing. And there was a clown there and he like grabbed my shoulder and said, "Hey kid, don't do that." But as a kid, that was
Oh,
just like the scariest thing to hear from a
yeah.
clown. Usually someone
Yeah.
who brings you joy to have like a big old like clown
Yeah.
thing on your
Yeah.
shoulder and you look up and you see like a clown saying, "Don't do that." That
Yeah.
just like gave me a terrible, terrible irrational fear of clowns until
Yeah.
like the fifth grade is when I kind of mellowed out because we had like a friend of mine, his parents took me to go to, and with him, they took me to go like to a circus. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna man up. I'm gonna man up. I'm gonna man up. And then I went, and then I was totally fine. And after that day, I've never thought about clowns. No more nightmares of clowns. That's
Oh,
good.
good.
But oh yeah, like
Yeah.
that was a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
Because of a kindergarten clown.
Yeah.
Um, but now I don't think I have any irrational fears, which is very,
Oh,
very nice.
yeah.
I think I'm good now. I'm cured. Unless I do something bad, another clown happens to catch me in the act. I think I'll be good for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like clowns at all
I don't know.
either. So,
It looks scary.
yeah.
They're scary looking. I don't know who's
Yeah.
gonna like. They don't make me laugh.
Yeah. I know. I always joke with my family. I'm like, they think they're so funny, and they're not.
Give me a good mime. I'll take a good mime
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
At least they won't talk.
Yeah.
They won't yell at me.
And- yeah, and they don't have the like creepy makeup and yeah.
Literally. Literally. There's nothing else like
Yeah.
my friends always joke, they're like, what's the worst thing you could imagine? Like you wake up and something's in your room staring, looking at you. I'm always like a clown. It
Yeah.
doesn't get worse. It doesn't get worse. Like what, a
Yeah.
zombie? Okay, a zombie, sure. Okay, like a giant spider, okay. No, a clown. That is the worst. Just like
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
like that nothing's worse. There's nothing worse.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because like we've watched my family and I have like watched so many things where
Mhm.
clowns are, evil that it's like it just makes sense. And
Literally.
so yeah,
Yeah, it's absolutely killer clowns from outer space. It's like you have
yeah,
all these
yeah,
things. It's like
yeah,
maybe we shouldn't like clowns. Maybe there's a reason. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. No offense to any clowns watching.
No offense to the clowns. We
Yeah.
appreciate your work.
Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah. So what song best describes your life right now?
What song best describes my life? You know what's funny is when it comes to music, lyrics are something that I listen to last. So like I feel like the answer might be something absolutely ridiculous that have like not a lot of lyrics in them. Like for example, my song right now is a song called Nangs, by Tame Impala. He's one of my favorite artists. Um, but the reason I love this song, there's only one lyric, and he goes, "Is there something more than that?" And that's like all he says the entire time. But the sonic soundscape of it is just it's so motivational, and it's huge. It's like larger than life, and I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I'm at this understanding where it can get bigger than where I'm at now. So like, because the song starts small, with just like a bass synthesizer, and it's like that already feels like a lot, That feel
Yeah.
if I wasn't listening if I was listening to it, whatever, I'd be like, oh, this is a lot happening right now. I feel good. I don't need anything else in the song. But while you're hearing this, halfway through, this huge drum beat comes in, and I'm like, where is there room for that? You know, like it
Yeah.
does. There's more than that. It gets bigger. It can get bigger from where you think it's at. So that's kind of like it you know allows me to just
Yeah.
kind of realize that, if I'm thinking I'm at the top now, it's like, no, 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 it keeps growing and it'll always keep growing. And not at the top, I'm talking like, not like fame or fortune. I just mean like mindset wise, like, oh, this is this is the most productive I can be, or this is like the happiest I can be right here. But it's like, no, no, it keeps growing. It's just going to keep growing because the more you like understand life, the more opportunities and the more grand it's going to get. And that song really just describes it. Nangs just wraps it all into a present with a bow for me. It's like, oh wait, there is more than that. It just keeps growing, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to ask you now because music's my thing. What about you?
Yeah. I've been listening to, I mean, I constantly have like Ben Platt on
Hmm.
repeat and Macy
Right.
Peters,
Hmm.
um and Asher Angel. Those are like the three
Those are the
artists that
three,
just,
yep, the core three.
yeah, yes. So they're constantly on repeat. And I think another one artist that I love. His name is Mark Amber, and he has a song called "Don't You Worry." I
Hmm.
actually interviewed him a few years
No
ago.
way.
Yeah, and he's such a nice guy,
Aw.
and he has a song called "Don't You Worry" that has been like, since it came out, I was like, this is like my song, the
Aw.
one that helps me through like everything. So that
That's
song.
amazing. That's so cool. I got to interview him too.
Thank you.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
it was, yeah, like before. Now he's like getting like really big, which I'm
Yeah.
so happy about because he deserves it. He's so
Mhm.
talented, and it was so fun to interview him like when he first like kind of started. Like he had just released a couple songs, and
Yeah.
now it- he has two albums out. So
It's insane. Time flies.
yeah. Yeah. Does, yeah. So what motivates you on days you aren't really feeling it?
You know, there's two answers. There's the easy answer and there's like the think about answer, I guess I'd say. The easy answer is like coffee, but sometimes it doesn't work because sometimes I don't drink a lot of coffee, so like coffee's like my last resort if I'm like, uh-oh, this bed is mighty comfy. Getting out might be a problem. It's like, no, gotta
Yeah.
drink coffee and get up and do the thing. And but what I really end up doing or what works for me is it's like for example, if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write music today, and then I wake up and I don't feel like writing music, I just think like, what songs did I miss the opportunity of writing? Because, it's so music for me is very spontaneous. It's usually like I'll sit down in 5 hours and finish the thing from start to finish. I rarely ever have ideas like, in advance or anything. Like I usually write lyrics, record, do everything all in like within like a 5 hour window because I just love the spontaneity of it. And so I always think I'm like, well, if I don't do music today, what like what song is gonna not exist because of me? What song are people gonna want to hear that they don't get to hear because of me? Like a song that could, I mean, this is a long shot, change somebody's life, hopefully one day. This
Yeah.
song that can change somebody's life. Like, what if it wasn't written because you didn't just put the work in? And I'm like, oh, dang it. I was like, okay. And then so I always get up and I always end up writing something. So that's the go-to thing is be like, what am I missing out on? So ultimately it's like FOMO. It's like FOMO of fear of missing out of in writing a really good song. And I'm telling you, my favorite songs that I've written are always in that time where I don't want to write. And then I sit down and the first thing I record is really cool and I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute. I remember this for next time. So now anytime I'm tired, it's like, nope, get out of bed, do the thing. And I'm always happy I do. And a
Yeah.
little bit of coffee, of course. I mean, that'll help.
Yeah.
Need it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, whenever Starbucks has their pumpkin spice lattes, like I need one
So good.
every day.
So
So,
good. So
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the
Yeah.
pumpkin the chai or pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah.
Goodness, you can just give me anything pumpkin, anything from Starbucks, any
Yeah.
seasonal item.
Yeah.
I will buy all of them.
Yeah.
And a mug. And a mug.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Um, so I just have two more questions for you. So what show or movie do you find yourself quoting more often than you would like?
Well, sure, movie. I I always my favorite movie of all time is Coraline. Um, and I always end up quoting that movie with my friends, like little small lines. Like what's an example? Um I can't even think of any right now, but like I have the entire script basically memorized, and a lot of my really good friends, that's also their favorite movie. So we'll always just like out of nowhere, just like say like a line from it. For example, like these two ladies go like "Toodaloo, cherry pie," and we'll just like say that to each other, just like random lines. We'll just pick like one a day and just say it, and then we think it's the most hilarious thing. And that's like the movie that I quote from the most. And it's also funny because like nobody understands like what's happening, but only like the people that are around me. So we'll just pick a random line, quote it, and then we'll be like, I remember that part, blah 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 blah. Which is like really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And that's sweet.
Yeah. My my family and I are
Mhm.
like that with there's a movie called Ishtar
Mhm.
that is like listed as one of the worst movies ever made, but it's one of our favorites.
No.
We find it so funny and we there's lots of things we quote from
Yeah.
it. Like in the movie, these two guys are songwriters and they're like
Mhm.
the worst songwriters. And their songs are so funny that we'll just like be randomly singing them. um, and like you have to I don't know if you'd like the movie, but it's
I'll
so
watch Ishtar. I'll
funny.
remember it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's this. It's gonna sound so random saying it
Mhm.
now if you haven't seen it. But there's this line where, or there's this scene where they're supposed to get like a blonde camel, but they think the person's saying a blind camel, so they get a blind camel. And my family and I quote that all the time, and nobody understands it.
The blind cam. Bring out the blind camel.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's so funny.
it's so funny.
I imagine when you said blonde camel, I imagined a camel in like a wig, like a blonde wig.
Yeah.
Maybe it was blonde and blind. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So I just have one more question for you.
Let's do it.
Um, So I love inspiring and motivational quotes.
Hmm.
And this week, the quotation that spoke to me is from the show Grimm, which I love. And
Hmm.
it says, everyone sees who you appear to be, few experience what you really are, which
Hmm.
is which is like um sorry, I'm trying to. I had a thought in my head and
No,
now
you're all
it's
good.
not coming out. It's I realized as I was writing it that the quote is like it's related to something in the show, but
Yeah.
it's something that like really spoke to me because I think it's I don't know. I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
There is. There's always a lot, but my favorite one, let me look it up and make sure I get it right. Uh, I think uh, it's from Dune, the movie or the book. Let me see. My dad just told this to me. Quote, let me look it up. Dune, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings obliteration. I will face my fear and I will permit it to pass over and through me. I think it's just such a powerful thing because, for me, trying new things is always very scary. And
Yeah.
instead of letting fear overtake you, just let it pass through you. Don't let it phase you. Just
Yeah.
just let it, just do your thing and let it, you know, because fear is always going to try to bring you down, and you can't let it. That's
Yeah.
what fear is there for, and like, it's a very weird thing. Fear is a very weird
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. It's just I love that quote so much because it,
Yeah.
instead of being nervous or something to try new things or like, for example, like I really want to try doing a play, and I've tons and tons of experience of doing TV and film, but not a lot doing stage. So like that to me is like terrifying. Like doing a play, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that sounds scary. But I think of this quote. I'm like, fear is the mind killer. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is what brings me down in here. If I don't have the fear, if I don't let it affect me, it won't affect my brain. It won't affect my performance. It'll make me more confident. It'll bring out what needs to come out of me performance wise. And then so that way I'm not thinking about fear the whole time while I'm on stage. So that's that's a quote that I really like.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I
Isn't it
think
cool?
that's a great quote.
Yeah. And it's from a book, which is
Yeah.
cool. And I love sci-fi. I love reading. I love Stephen King. I love all those anything that's like long and has a lot of characters in it. That's like
Um,
for
yeah.
me,
Oh,
Dune,
cool.
all those.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, for me, I love reading
Hmm.
and I can't like I don't know, I have a hard time with like focusing on it and not
Oh yeah.
having my mind wander. So if I'm
Yes.
picking out a book, it can't be like um super long. It can't be
I'm
like a
with you.
really thick book.
Of course.
Yeah,
It goes back and forth. It takes me a long time to read a book. I just finished
yeah.
Misery by Stephen King. I love Stephen King. I just kind of like a Stephen King kick. I read Pet Cemetery, then I went straight to The Body, and then now I just finished Misery, and now I'm moving on to I think a Neil Gaiman book, who wrote Coraline. So I just
Yeah.
love reading so much. It's really fun.
Yeah, I love Neil Gaiman.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, right now I'm reading a book called Kissing Kosher by
Hmm.
Gene Meltzer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've it's such a good book and I've been reading it for like the past year though cuz I can't I like pick it up and I read like a chapter or two
Yep.
and then I can't.
I'm so with you. I'm the same way. Same
Thank
way.
you. I'm glad to know I'm not alone.
Definitely not. Oh yeah. Sometimes I'll read
Yeah,
a page and I'm like, all right, that's enough for me
yeah,
today. And then,
yeah,
come back in a week.
yeah,
So it's, as long as you're like, as long as
yeah,
it's something that you're like thinking, you know what? I think the longer it takes, the more time you have to think about the book.
yeah,
So why rush through it, Because at
yeah,
least like I'll be thinking about the book the entire time I'm not reading it.
yeah, definitely.
Gives you more time to think about it.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. I know I'm thinking about it a lot when I'm
Hmm.
not reading it and then I want to go back and read
Yeah,
it and
exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um well, that was my final question for you. I have just had the best time talking
Oh,
with you. I would love to just keep talking.
I know, right? Me too.
Yeah. So we'll have to do this again.
I'd love to. And whenever you're in
Yeah,
LA, let me know.
I
We should grab
will.
lunch.
I would
Please.
love that.
Be really fun.
Yeah, that would. I would love that. I'll definitely let you know.
Yes, reach out, please.
Thank you. I will.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much, Maya. This is the
yeah,
best. Thank you
I
for having me.
yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I have just again had the best time talking
Oh,
with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.